Alright guys, Tactical here back again today. Hope you're enjoying your Saturday so far, and yesterday was day one of the Chicago home series. Very interesting few matches, some 3-0s to start with, but the final match of the day, Huntsman versus the Subliners. Subliners get the better of the Huntsmen in a big upset, one of the biggest upsets we've seen so far this season. We have been talking about on this channel over the last few days though, that Subliners clearly an improved force on what they were before they brought Mac into the lineup. Definitely a great series from them, Attach was going off. We'll discuss that in the coming minutes here, and the implications for the rest of the tournament and for the Huntsmen as a whole. I'm sure that's going to be a big topic over the coming days if Huntsmen don't bounce back, but they very well could do. Let's not forget Florida Mutineers, winners of the Dallas home series. They lost their very first series of the weekend to Toronto Ultra and brought it back to win. Maybe the same thing will happen this weekend, but I can't say it's overwhelmingly likely. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, and let's hop right into things then with the London Royal Ravens versus Atlanta FaZe, first matchup of the day, and this was a really interesting one. Game 1, Azir Cave. Simp just decides, you know, you guys have been talking about GodRx, you've been talking about Envoy the last few weeks, maybe being the best player in the game. Well, you know, I'm here now and I'm back in action, because of course Atlanta FaZe having a couple of weekends out. Simp shows up with the 49 bomb in hardpoint. I'll have to play this video on screen for you guys, because when this guy's playing at his best, it's honestly just something else to watch. Like, we saw Scump set the kill record 2 weekends ago at the Dallas home series on Gunrunner with 45. That tends to be a map where you do get a lot of kills on. Azir Cave with a sub 49 kills, like, you can't make this stuff up. Really close map as well. Difficult for London Royal Ravens to end up losing this one. They make a nice comeback, but just don't make it work in the end. But Simp just dominates it, man. And somehow I feel like he's slipped under the radar a little bit over the last few weekends, so incredible to see him just come straight back to form, and then into the game 2 as well on the Search and Destroy. I do just feel bad for London here, frankly, because they lose such a close 3-0. This one they arguably could have won at times. Wiskin was going off with the sniper, as was Simp though, is his counterpart, and it was a 1v1 in the game 5, or not the game 5, game 2, round 11 in this instance. So Atlanta FaZe clutch up twice in the first 2 maps when it matters, and then in game 3 as well, domination on Hackney Yard, they get the better of them. It was a really close map up until one little point where Atlanta FaZe get 5 dead and they end up winning the series. So yeah, really interesting series to start us off here. Simp with the 84 bomb over just 3 maps, which I'm pretty sure is a record so far for the 10-minute domination that we now have. Thanks to these scoreboards goes to Cam Allen. Unfortunately, Horizontal's PC or whatever has been messing up, so we don't get the really snazzy graphics, but still all the KDs are on screen for you guys. Wiskin has a good KD once again, but just doesn't quite get the better of FaZe. Obviously a really scary squad. And this was also a screenshot that Alicat put up of the spawns here on domination. A lot of people were talking about this. Hackney Yard domination spawns not being great by any means. You can see here our Royal Ravens have B control, they have C flag, and they spawn down here, and look at this spawn from Atlanta FaZe up in the top left. Not ideal, you could say, but that's kind of how these spawns work in this game. They're almost noob friendly in a sense that they allow spawn flips kind of easily. But let's move on to the next series of the day, that being Seattle Surge LAG. And I talked yesterday how I had some faith in the Los Angeles Guerrillas team. I thought they were going to be able to do a number on them, especially in the Search and Destroy. I fancied LAG to win a respawn and win both S&Ds. However, it doesn't happen. Map number 1, Seattle Surge win a really close one, like an impressive clutch factor from them, but they've always been kind of decent at hardpoint. It was the Search and Destroy, especially on Arklov, where I was worried for the Seattle Surge, but they make it work, and it was impressive to see given our Los Angeles Guerrillas had really destroyed Dallas Empire on this map last time. I thought they were going to do a similar job to the Surge here, but they actually do win a Search and Destroy and win the Gunrunner Dom as well. So good win from the Surge here, maybe to spark some confidence. Karma has a fantastic series, something like a 1.6, and Amberthy just behind him with a 1.4 as well, and there was a little bit of trash talk that went out just afterwards. But yeah, this is what the scoreboard looks like. Okay, Amberthy had a 1.4 overall, 1.7 in the hard points, Karma with a dominant series. Octane rarely, didn't really have to do too much. So yeah, a comfortable 3-0, not the best performances out of the LAG guys. And then Slacks comes out with the following: GG's LAG, nothing new, another 25 mid 3-0s, guys are horrible. Really funny one, because we had this talk yesterday that I didn't really mention, but it was about the 10 series, some players getting picked over others that you would expect to. Vivid still getting picked over you, buddy, in 10s is what people are saying here. So yeah, some really funny back and forths here on Twitter. And Slacks sparking a bit of a rivalry there, right, which is going to be interesting to see going forwards. So, Series 3 of the day, Dallas Empire versus OpTic Gaming Los Angeles. And this was just Shotzi's series, to be honest. Yes, game 2 on the Arclov peak. OpTic Gaming just absolutely destroyed them. Dashy on the sniper was great to watch, and Kenny actually had a really good map as well around in that swamp area most of the time. But yeah, Shotzi just crushed it both hardpoints. Map number 1 on Gunrunner, he dropped 40. Then on Hackney Yard, he was like 34 in 20 or something as well. So really, really stellar series from him. Something we haven't seen really so far this tournament. I was kind of expecting to see that out of him at the Dallas Empire series, but when this guy is playing well, this team is a deadly force to be reckoned with, and honestly, their team play the entire time was really, really good. Yes, they lose that search and destroy here on Arclov Peak, but apart from that, it was pretty comfortable. JCap once again with a 0.7, and look, at this point, questions have to be asked, right? Because we've always talked about how, Dashy, did he go out of the team for Chino? Okay, Dashy's back in the team. Is it going to be JCap he's replacing, or is Chino going to be in the team? Like, who knows what happens here? There questions obviously has to be asked now, right? Because you're losing a series to a guy like Shotzi, who's just slaying out, dropping 110 kills, 1.6 KD over the course of the series, and Jacob's here with a 0.7, and at this point it just seems like you need more slaying power on your squad if you're going to compete with the Dallas Empire, with an Atlanta FaZe, these guys who are cracked out of their minds, and they're just going to drop an incredible amount of kills. It just doesn't seem viable as a long-term solution right now, JCap being in the team. I don't like to have to say that, but it does seem like the situation that is in front of us. But maybe we will see something different today when they end up playing the Los Angeles Guerrillas. As I say, maybe they can make a comeback. Great series from Shotzi. Maybe we wouldn't see that again. Really the first time, especially game 1, that I had seen Hook, Illy and Shotzi all go off at the same time. And there was also some talk about the role changes. It seemed like Slasher was back on the main AR here for the OpTic Gaming squad. And as Saint says here, like, we scrimmed them 2 days ago and they had Dashy on the main AR. So what's going on there? And Slasher not exactly particularly happy with the situation. How does one perform with the highest level of 100 ping? Asking for a friend. But let's go on to the final series of the day. That being Chicago Huntsman, New York Subliners here. And game number 1 was a domination fest, frankly, from Subliners. Really, really comfortable. Given this was the map that Scum dropped 45 on very recently, Subliners kind of took over this one, 135 to 250, and especially that being attached. This was one of the screenshots I did manage to grab. 34 in 18 here from attached game number 1. Accuracy was doing good as well, but yeah, seems like Mac in that like secondary aggro SMG role just behind Zuma allows Attach to play this kind of slower role, which he's always liked to play. Attach is kind of a quick player, but compared to a lot of the SMGs nowadays, he's actually one of the more reserved. So like Attach dropping 34 and 18 here, this is one of the best series he's had in a long time, frankly. Really impressive to see. And yeah, game number 1, they just get the job done on them. But it was the game 2 that things got interesting, frankly, because this has been Envoy's map. Subliners decide to play it against them here on the St. Petrograd Search and Destroy. Envoy goes off on it, right? Like, he goes 12 in 5 or something again. But some real crucial mistakes from the Huntsmen, to be honest. They were getting first blood a lot of the time. I think they had 5 out of the first 6 first bloods, but they were down 4-2 in terms of round count. And we saw so many times, especially in the first round, which I'll play on screen here, where Envoy gets a big 2-piece, does what he's renowned for. They could easily just plant a bomb and play the retake. Instead, Envoy flies out the front, dies to Attach. Gunless plants the bomb and then loses the 1v1 gunfight. Attach wins that 1v2, which really never should have happened given the situation. And it does go all the way to around 11, but you could say the Huntsmen should have closed this out early. They really should have won this map given the amount of first bloods they had and the amount of rounds they threw away. Like, it really was not good fundamental search and destroy from Huntsmen, and we see that again crop up when it does go to the game 5 here. But Subliners go up 2-0. Then we start getting some clutch factor from the Huntsman. So they bring it back in the domination, 156 to 150. Mac has really his first poor performance here, and they end up winning this to the Huntsman. And then Hackney Yard's hardpoint, 250-228. So impressive win for the Huntsman to take it to the game 5. And it felt at this point like if they make this comeback, this could be the spark. But it doesn't happen. They go into search and destroy once again. And we talked very, very recently, RCT's on this Trip Cap podcast saying that, look, it was only a couple of weeks ago was the first time that us as the Huntsman properly sat down and looked at our search and destroy. Seems like it hasn't helped so far, right? Like, he talked about how they kept having to get bailed out by their players. Clearly the Subliners have been working on it here, because on Ramaza, Temp goes off. He goes like 11 in 5 or something in the final map. And it just doesn't work out for them, right? And this is the overall series scoreboard right here. Yes, okay, Formall back in his groove, maybe a little bit on the main assault rifle, but it was just the search and destroy that just wasn't great, right? Like, they did win a couple of respawns here, Envoy with a 1.6 in the search, but losing both maps, this is a loss that, frankly, if you're going to be a championship contender, it's not really an acceptable loss to take. Now, I say that, it is very possible that Subliners just go on to dominate this tournament and are a real wrecking force within the community from now on, and attached with a great series as well, almost dropping 100 bombs. So yeah, I was expecting Subliners to be good. I was expecting a series kind of like this. I did think it would go game 5, but I thought Huntsman would clutch up, and it didn't happen, and it'll be really interesting to see what happens going forwards. They can still win the tournament, let's not discount that just yet, but yeah, definitely worthy of some more discussion in coming days, I believe. So yeah, as Madcat and Clayster kind of have this back and forth here, saying that like this reverse sweep might save Chicago from implosion or explosion, I suppose. And yeah, we'll have to see what happens this course of the weekend, but I'm going to keep this tweet thread in mind when the weekend does conclude. And Subliners and Mutineers having a little bit of a dig here at the Chicago Huntsmen. It's all kind of friendly Twitter stuff, but yeah, interesting to see, because this was not a series I expected Huntsmen to lose, quite frankly. A lot of people didn't either, even though I did think it would be very close. These were the overall leaderboards for KD. Kambo with the 1.65, Shotzi with the 1.62, Apathy right up there as well, Simp with the 1.27, Celium with a 1.3. So impressive day one performance from Seattle Surge and the Atlanta FaZe as well. And let's have a look then just real quick at the bracket for today. So this is what it looks like. FaZe Subliners, Royal Ravens Huntsman down here. Then we have Surge Dallas Empire in the qualifying round for the winner's side, and then Gorillas OGLA for the losers. There's going to be 6 matches today. By tomorrow, only 4 teams will remain. And these are the odds then. So I wanted to look through this really quick. Empire versus Seattle Surge here on Midnight.com. This is the one series where I think the odds are actually kind of good. Seattle Surge at almost 3-1 to beat Empire, especially given how good Seattle Surge looked on day one. And I feel like if Shotzi doesn't go off again for the Dallas Empire, like Surge could definitely win this series, I feel. Now, I'm kind of worried about the search and destroy, but at the same time, Empire lost 6-1 in their Arklov Peak search to OpTic Gaming Los Angeles, right? So, you know, the search and destroys could go either way, I think, in that aspect of the game. And then you've got to consider that in respawns, Seattle have always been kind of good. So I honestly think these odds are kind of good here. Subliners again at 3.55-1 to beat FaZe is pretty good. Again, it's just, am I going to pick against FaZe? I don't know. Like, these odds are probably good, but like, you know, am I going to predict FaZe to lose? I don't really think I can, frankly, even though Subliners did just beat the Huntsman. OGLA, LAG, I've basically run out of faith in LAG at this point, but then again, OGLA's respawn did look kind of terrible, and Gorillas were almost kind of close, especially in that game 1 hardpoint to beating Seattle Surge, so this probably could go either way still, so these may be decent odds for Gorillas. And then the final series of the day being Huntsman, well, not the final series of the day, but the final series that we know exactly what the teams are going to be so far. Royal Ravens Huntsman, 2.2-1 is kind of good, but, you know, am I going to predict Huntsman to go 0-2 out of their own home series? I just don't think I can, right? But you guys may disagree in the comment section below. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you are new as always. Thanks to Midnight for sponsoring this weekend's content for sure. The links will be down below to the stream on youtube.com/COD League going forward. Starts at 6 PM at my time, 1 PM Eastern, 10 AM Pacific time, I believe. And tomorrow will be very interesting to see which teams are left in the tourney. Thanks for watching as always. I'll see you next time.